You know what really grinds my gears? Present peekers. You go through all the effort to try to find the perfect Christmas present, only for them to ruin the surprise by looking at it early. You know who the worst present peeker is? My partner, Mrs. Inator. Well, you know what? This year, I'm making a present peeker trap. When Mrs. Inator gets curious about what's inside this box, she'll open it up, an alarm will sound, and a 10-second video will be recorded. And then that video is going to be sent both to my phone and Santa's. Mrs. Inator's definitely going on the naughty list this year. So here's how it's going to work. It all starts with this ESP32 cam board. Now this little camera is going to plug right into this little port right here, and this is what's going to actually record the video and give us the video evidence that Mrs. Inator is indeed a present peeker. Now, I have to save that someplace before it goes up to the internet, and that's what this little part on the back here is. That's just an SD card slot, so I'm just going to pop an SD card in there that will record the video. And for the alarm, I'm just using this little thing. This is what's called an active buzzer, and I just put 5 volts across these pins, and it'll make a shrill, annoying beeping noise. That is one of the most annoying things that I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, you're probably wondering how I'm going to detect that the present has been opened, and for that, I'm using this bad boy. This is what's called a photoresistor, and what happens is it can detect the light right here. So when the box is closed, it should be dark, but as soon as light hits this thing, I know that the box has been opened. I can set off the alarm and record my 10-second video. So you're probably wondering how I'm going to get power to all of that, and I'm just going to use this portable battery pack right here. It has a plug right here that I can plug into the ESP32, and that will not power it for days and days, but it will definitely power it long enough to catch Mrs. Inator in the act of peeking into her present. So in any project, I like to start with the hardest thing first, and I suspect the hardest part of this is going to be recording the video. This thing doesn't have a lot of horsepower on it, even though it is designed to do some video recording. So we're going to go ahead and hook up the camera to this, and then I'm going to pop the SD card in. I'm going to see if I can write some code to get some video recorded. Hey, so it's 2 days later, and the good news is I do have the thing taking pictures. The bad news is they look like hot garbage. Let me show you what I mean. So as you can see here, this is the first picture that I took. You can see that it has like a purple tinge to it. It looks really underexposed, and the lighting isn't that great. You can kind of see my face, but you should be aware that this is with every light in my shop on, including my studio lights. So if we come over here, this is another one. Picture is not that fantastic. And again, this is with a light directly beaming inside my eyes. The only good one I managed to take was this one, and that is when I took it directly in front of this studio light, which doesn't look all that bright, but holy smokes, it's like a sun beaming into your eyes. I have 2 options. Option 1 is fill the gift box with LEDs, so it's like a blinding light comes up in your face the moment you open it, which would be hysterical, but I also don't want to burn out Mrs. Inator's retinas. Option 2 is to see if I can find a better camera. I don't want to brag, but I am an Amazon Prime member, and I got Amazon to bring me 2 new camera modules that I think should, fingers crossed, be slightly better. So let's take a look at those. Let's go ahead and pop the old camera module out. This was a fairly small sensor, and it's only a 2 megapixel camera. I did see some stuff online. This is a common problem that people complain about, that this camera is very, very low quality. Some people suggested heating up the plastic and trying to pull out the little IR filter that's on there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. Maybe that would work, maybe it wouldn't. I am just going to try a new camera. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside. This came in a 2-pack from Amazon for $16, meaning these cameras costed me $8 a piece. So I'm not expecting stellar quality, but hopefully they'll at least be a little bit better than what I was working with. That looks good. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull off the protective shield of the camera. If this is working right, we should see a white LED come on. It did. Maybe this is working. Let me take a couple more pictures. I'm going to unplug this, pop the SD card in, and see what we got. It did take some pictures. Let's look at those pictures. Okay, well, it's blurry because it was moving around and stuff, and it's upside down, which is not a huge deal. This camera is dramatically better. Let's just rotate that so that we can see it a little bit better. That's dramatically better. Okay, so now that we've got it taking one solid picture, the next step is to get a 10-second video. I'm going to work on that, and that's probably going to be several more hours for me, but it's going to be just a second for you. I've just spent about half an hour writing some more code. Let's see if this actually works the way I think it should. So I got my good old battery pack here. Looks like it's still got a charge. I'm just going to go ahead and plug her into the board. And in a second, we should see a bright light come on. Yep, that's it. It did something. It's trying to play a 10-second video. We've got a really great view of my nostrils there. I'm profoundly sorry about that. Oh, what's the size of this thing? 6,702 kilobytes. What size were the old video files that we were looking at before? These were 74 kilobytes. All right, so that is indicative that it's capturing like 10 seconds of video footage. It's just not playing back correctly. All right, back to the code. Okay, I've done a whole bunch more optimization, and I think I might have this working. Video players require more than just a bunch of pictures smooshed together. I actually switched like something called a container format, made a whole bunch of changes. The flash LED should come on here in just a couple seconds. And let's open up this video file and see what we got. Hey! That is exactly what we're looking for. That is a terrible camera angle. What's next? Well, now that I've got a video actively being recorded, I need to upload that to the internet. It is yet another day. Seriously, this project continues to go on. The good news is I think it's finally working. So let's go ahead and do a quick demo. So I've got my camera right here. I'm going to hit the reset button. And when I do, just keep an eye on my screen over here. So on the right, we're going to see what's happening every single step of the way. And we'll see exactly what the camera's doing at any given moment. And if it's successful, we should see a video pop up over here. Now, it's not going to look like a YouTube video. It's just going to have a bunch of text, but it's going to have a bunch of text that I can use in my app to download a video. I'm going to hit the reboot button. It is starting up. Excellent. It's attempting to connect to the Wi-Fi. We're on the Wi-Fi. It's recording a video. Hey, this is going to be a weird video. Okay. And video is uploaded. Okay, we're uploading the video file. Video upload completed successfully. Boom! There we have it. There we have it right there. That's exactly what we're looking for. So now we've got a download URL right here. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to open up a new tab here. Going to go ahead and download that video. Let's open it. Yes, there we go. It's working. Huzzah! Whew, that was way more difficult than I expected. I think the next thing I'm going to work on is the photo resistor, just because the buzzer is going to be super annoying. So this is the most comically large breadboard I've ever seen in my life. But I've done some projects where I really needed something this size. This project is not one of them, but I was like, how many breadboards does one Makerinator need? I just have the one big one. So I threw out all my smaller ones. So this comically large breadboard is what we're using. Editing room Matthew here. At this point, I spent 3.5 hours incorrectly hooking up a photo resistor. I was really tired that night and didn't have 2 brain cells to rub together. I'm not going to make you suffer through that. Instead, we'll just fast forward to the point where I realized I'm an idiot. Basically, I spent the entire evening trying to figure out why nothing I connected to the GPIO pins was going to work. I even got down to a point where I was just like, let's just get a button working. Let's go down to like, hi, I'm learning Arduino 101 and make an LED flash with a button. So I even connected up a little button to it. Wasn't working. Turns out, after 3.5 hours of beating my head against this, I discovered that I had hooked up the ground wire to the wrong pin, and that's why nothing was working. So, yeah. And it's 3 days later. So I had to do a whole bunch of holiday-related stuff. I have about a week and a half to get this project done before pretty much it's just not going to get done for the season. Good news is I've made some progress. Editing room Matthew again. The guy you're watching is so optimistic. Too bad nothing he's about to try is going to work. We're going to fast forward to the point where he realizes that. All right, I'm wearing different clothes, which means it's yet another day. Who knows if this thing's actually going to get done on time. At this point, it might end up being the New Year's present peaker instead of the Christmas present peaker. Who knows? What I've realized is I am just asking way too much of this tiny little microcontroller board. It's recording video, it's saving that video to an SD card, it's uploading that video to the internet, and then it's telling the internet what to do with that video once it's uploaded. For a microcontroller this tiny, that's incredible. Like, that is enormously insane that it's already doing all that. What that does mean, however, is that trying to add the photo resistor and trying to add the buzzer to this, I'm just asking too much of it. What I want to do is I am going to move to a 2-board system. So what that means is I'm going to get a second microcontroller, an Arduino Nano, and that thing is going to control my photo resistor and my buzzer. So what will happen is that when the Arduino Nano recognizes the box has been opened because the photo resistor detects light, it'll send a message over to this ESP32 board, and then the ESP32 board will start recording the video, doing all the cool stuff. All right, so I've dug through my mountain of electronic parts, and this is not the one I was looking for, but this will get the job done. I'm saying this, we're actually making progress. This is the circuit for the Arduino Nano, and you can see we've got the photo resistor here, we got the buzzer here, everything's hooked up to the correct pins. Let me just go ahead and plug that in real quick and give it power. All right, so when I put my hand over the photo resistor, it does not beep, but the second I take my hand away, starts beeping again. So the only thing I need this to do now is send an additional signal over to the camera board and kick off the recording sequence. So I need to get all this and put it on a proto board so that it's off of a breadboard so that it'll fit inside the present. Then I just need to finish writing the app and we should be good to go. News, everyone. Not only is this part working, everything else is working too. The app is working, everything is set up. The only thing that's left is to put all the components inside of this box. Well, I'm thinking it's going to be this box. I'm not sure how that's going to look in the all-important YouTube thumbnail, so I bought a bigger box as well. I might use one, I might use both, I might use none, who knows. Now, I don't want this to be super permanent, so I did get these repositionable glue dots from Michaels. Hopefully they'll be strong enough to keep everything in place when I stick it down in the gift, but we can have that when I pull everything out, it won't make a giant mess. Like the third time I've tried to record this demo because apparently I'm an idiot and can't keep the present in frame when I try to. Anyway, here's how this works. So Mrs. Nader is going to see this very cool looking present, and then she's going to not be able to resist, and she's going to take a peek inside. Oh no! Oh my goodness, what is this? I better close this back up. Thank you. My Academy Award for acting should be in the mail any day now. I now have a push notification on my phone. You can see it says gift box opened early. And if I tap on that push notification, it opens up the Naughty List Notifier app, and you can see the recording of the present peeker in the act. So the trap is set. Everything is ready. Let's go play a prank on Mrs. Nader. Oh, milk and cookies, my favorite holiday snack. Ho, 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 no! Mrs. Nader's on the naughty list. If you made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if you did the YouTube pleasantries of clicking the like and subscribe button. Also, if you enjoyed the video, you might also like the project that I did that's like a hybrid of air hockey and pinball, but it's like a real world thing you can put on your table. It's hard to explain, just check it out. Thanks for watching. Oh, candy canes! Oh no, not you too!
Like, subscribe.